Uh, Good evening, everyone. Now, this here is called a ninja toe. The purpose of this is it's used in ninjutsu because instead of having a samurai sword, they have what's called a ninja toe. A ninja toe is more for digging holes and things like that than for actually cutting or killing. Right? And the purpose of them is usually just to be a aid in escape, right? Now, a samurai will try to chop your head off with one blow, right? But the ninja's job, if he's a spy, is to escape. A ninja will just cut you on the hand and distract you so he can get away or something like that, right? Now, this here is the Blade Trinity Blade Series sword, but it's a little bit different model, right? It doesn't do the exploding spikes. It does have a little knife in it. Right. It sort of was slim. Now, sword play is a little bit different because there's many ways to attack. You can do the 8 cuts. There's down, 2 up, left and back, and then straight forward. Now, if you're going to swing them, you got to do it in unison. Now, you can also use them as sort of a guard, like this. Or, like this. Things like that. Now, this here is a 2-edged sword. The ninja toe is a single-edged sword. What a dual-edged sword is, it has 2 blades on each side that go up to a point. A ninja toe and a samurai is one side has the blade and one side is solid. Things like that, right? Now, it depends on what martial art style you take, but you could even learn defense with these, sort of like the musketeers a little bit too, but it's a different way. But generally, you want to use a sword as a last resort today, right? Now, a sword, unless you're ambushing someone with the gun, cannot be the gun unless you're fast enough to chop the bullet in half or something. That don't usually happen. Now, only Jesus, though, can be healed of a gunshot wound because of the spear. Now, the reason is, most guns, like I told you before, are made out of the metal. The bullet, right? And men think because of the velocity of the bullet, it's not a metal weapon like a spear. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. It's a metal weapon like a sword, right? The difference is the smallness of the weapon makes it more easier to kill people. But it's still a metal weapon, like a spear or a sword. The difference is it's a smaller weapon which is shot at a higher caliber because of what? Gunpowder. Well, again, Jesus does everything on the earth he helped the Father create it, the Spirit of all life. Now, when Satan came in, he took over. And Jesus is trying to win the earth back from him. You got to understand that too. We're no longer following Jesus, but Satan. Because he took over when we sinned with him. That's the first thing you got to admit. Anyway, we're following something bad. That's lying to us and telling us it's God when it's not a God, right? It's a creature like us. See, Jesus, even being the firstborn of every creature, is still a creature. But he serves the eternal spirit. The eternal spirit is alone God. It formed all the creatures. Through Jesus too, right? And the way it did that is by making Jesus the firstborn of every creature. Now, what that means is in heaven, Jesus becomes the creature first, and then through Jesus being the creature is formed here on earth. No matter its hierarchy in the earth as well, right? Now, Satan wants us to dominate in an evil way, not be one with each other either. Being one means we all know we all have strengths and weaknesses here too, right? And the point is, a strength and a weakness are two different things. Now, again, a sword or a spear is never faster than a gun, right? But since Jesus was pierced with spears and nails, the velocity of the weapon wouldn't matter. If you believe he was raised from the dead, he can heal you of any injury. Now that's not a personal challenge to shoot someone, unless it's in self-defense yourself. We're not supposed to go around shooting people because that's murder. You know that, right? Right. You have to prove someone guilty here beyond all reasonable doubt, or you're playing a vigilante too. That's the problem too, right? You're not supposed to do anything, even if I was living with a 4-year-old. And the reason is, it's not your business, it's between me and my wife and the girl, right? If I'm sleeping on the couch and we got into a fight, that's what I'm supposed to do, right? Whole point there, right? If I wake up with the girl in there with me, I also know what I'm supposed to do. Tell her mom. I'll also go after who showed her that. Now, the reason is, I knew about pedophilia and molestation long before I met Dad. But I never did it, right? Knowing about something don't mean you did it. Just like knowing the age of consent in Georgia is 16 don't mean I'm trying to date a 16-year-old either. I don't know any 16-year-olds. I don't hang out with 16-year-olds. I don't even approach 16-year-olds. Now, usually, someone has to speak to me first, too, before I'll speak to them, right? And unless I can, see if they are open to communications as well. And if someone's sort of ignoring you, you're supposed to ignore them, right? Generally. That's sort of what doing to others means, right? It also means if someone looks like they're friendly and wants to speak to you and you can tell, well, you speak to them too. First or last, whatever. Now, another thing is politeness, right? Now, I was taught you always be polite, you never treat people wrong, and you always do your best on your best behavior, right? I could do that easily until Christian Fellowship Church. Then the women started coming out the woodwork, whereas in Georgia I couldn't hardly get laid at all. Before I joined the military, But then after 18 women all of a sudden are coming on to me, right? And I'm hoping they were all women too, right? No transgender with full op, right? Though I know how that all works, on both sides, And if a transgender person is full op, you can't really tell, I know, because they make it look like a woman as best they can, and you still can't tell. Because the doctors today are good at plastic surgery. I don't blame anyone for feeling that way. But I do require you to tell the truth if you're wanting to date me, that you're one or not, right? Or don't date me. I'll be your friend to anyone I know. Gay or straight or transgender. But when you date me and I tell you I don't want to be with a transgender person, I mean it. If you don't want to hear that, you're hearing something in your own head, not me, not you. And that's the problem with most people. What makes you good or evil is if you listen to another person's feelings other than your own. When you don't listen to someone else's feelings and consider how they feel and want to put how you feel above how they feel, that's a problem for that person. Gay or straight. Now that's why I'm trying to help out both sides, because only a homophobic asshole would attack me. You know what I mean? For no reason. And try to make it look like I was in a car accident at the same time, knowing I survived whatever the hell they did to me up to that point too, right? Because first you got to knock someone out, right? Then put them in the car, then wreck the car with my stepbrother, who was in the car originally, not in the car. He got glasses in his hands too, right? See, that's the problem with your little cover-up, right? By doing it the way you did, you revealed what you did to me, right? And that little Roddy wasn't even in the car. He would have got gas in his hands too, no matter who did it. That's the question, who did it? I can name a few people, even my own stepbrothers might could have done it, but it don't prove it, right? I can only speculate, right? Because I have what? Total amnesia, a total blackout, right? Though according to the hospital, I was interacting with them, of course, in a semi-conscious state, right? But because I was hit to the point that I don't remember, right? But I know this, I survived whatever the hell they did to me. Same with the three-story fall. And you can argue with me about it all you want. But you weren't there. I had to live through it, whether you believe it or not. And I ain't got to prove anything to you either. If I tell you I fucking survived that, and I can get the medical records later on too. I know. I've been telling the same thing to the Navy too, right? Because I can get the medical records from Memorial hospital I was in. And if you get medical records, you're not lying. You're not lying. And if there's a real hospital in Savannah called Memorial, I don't know how to fake all that. You might be that elaborate. You might know how to do all that shit. No. But I don't. I don't do what you do. I'm honest. I got nothing to lie about. I got nothing to hide. I don't try to trick people into being with me one way or the other. In other words, what does that mean? A female can tell me no, yes, or maybe. Right? But maybe is still kind of a no. And I walk away from it. Only if she says yes, will I be with her, right? And it's got to be a what? Definite yes. A definite yes. Now, any woman, though, who wants you to meet at her place, don't do it, right? If you have your own place and she wants to meet at her place, it could even be her husband. Don't fall for it. Another problem, I know. And what the husband is doing is he's fishing for men who might be interested in his wife. And sometimes they do crazy shit like that. Right? They're not supposed to either. That's the whole point too, right? Now, Satan is the first weapon forger in heaven. Because in heaven, everyone's benevolent, right? And that's who taught us to do the weapons we have here on the earth. And you might not understand why he's Mars or Ares or the god of war, but he is. He is. He's rebelling from the rules in heaven and leading us astray. And he's a liar and a deceiver, right? He's all the bad gods, Loki, whatever you want to call him. There's no one name for the creature that's leading us into death. But it is. And it will call itself whatever suits you, right? But it's a bad spirit that God cannot just wipe out, right? Reason for that is it's in your mind. The only way God can stop Satan is if we all quit following Satan. Look, period. That means we got to start being benevolent and not malevolent. And y'all don't want to trust in God enough to do that, do you? You don't want to play by God's rules, just Satan's rules. You don't know the difference. God is more benevolent. In other words, even if he made a creature with teeth, if God made a creature with teeth that appear sharp to you, they're not to eat you, they're to eat grass too, right? Now, I think they call it Lycian or like something like that. But there's a certain gene that they're saying the dinosaurs with teeth get by eating the plant eaters, right? So what, the dinosaurs with sharp teeth can't eat grass too? I don't know. That's what I mean. But again, if something taught them to eat the benevolent creatures, then that something is manipulating the other creatures into being what? Malevolent. And instead of eating the grass, right, it's judging those creatures and they're following its judgment of them. And any creature that does that becomes capable of dying because it's sinning against the benevolent creator, right? Now, the Gnostics are being sarcastic, right, in some of their writings. And you're taking it literally, right? Yet some things literally happen that they're trying to tell you too that are metaphoric in the Garden of Eden too, right? The serpent cannot speak. Maybe a dog or a cat or something might can say hello or I love you, right? That's not quite the same. The serpent carried on a lengthy conversation with Eve, right? Right. Well, what serpent do you know can actually even hiss real well? All they really do is stick out their forked tongue for what? Heat signatures. Because they're what? Cold-blooded. Now, you think an animal like that can speak? No. It's a metaphor. That's why God asked Adam, who told you were naked, right? Because he knew Eve and Adam carried on a conversation with it, right? Now, if Eve heard the creature respond to her, guess who else was there to hear? Adam. Say he was asleep and it started talking to Eve, well, that would wake him up. as well. Now, this is because Moses wasn't sure Israel could handle the truth. They weren't listening to him half the time anyway. Sorry about that, guys. All right. But to blame Israel for not understanding it when no one wants to explain it to them either, that's a problem too, right? Right. If you understand it and you don't explain it to them, they still can't know. It's a metaphor. Or what's a metaphor or sarcasm and how that works too, right? Because, again, all an animal can do, is communicate through their vocal cords like we can, right? There's a reason for that, right? Now, if something is like a dog, right, or a cat, you can read the animal's approach. It's when it's hungry, when it's upset, it'll scratch at you or something like that. Whatever. You can know that because the animal is interacting with you, but it does not speak to you except in meow or bow wow wow. Mm-hmm. Or I love you once in a while, or jingle bells. Remember that growing up too. So anyway, whoops. The Ninja Toad fell down. And that's the whole point, alright? Now, one thing I learned is manners in the South, alright? One thing I learned is respect anyone, in my mind, regardless of skin color, right? But that don't mean people are the same as me in the South, because there's also the KKK down here, and people like that down here. But there's also the Black Panthers and people like that in the North on the African American side. So we all have, a little racism here, right? Black or white. And it starts when men start wanting to make other men their slaves. But guess where the white man learned it if he's out of Africa too? The Africans. See, slavery is a learned process where another race wants to dominate another race. Well, African American skin color is dominant over white. We're a recessive gene from the African American. That's what you won't understand, bros before hoes, right? Who create the hoes and the bros, right? Now, regardless of skin color, right? When you make another human being ashamed, right? Because they look different than you. And don't tell me you don't do it either, African Americans. Or that people in Africa didn't do it too, right? They have what they call mingi. Right? That's if a child looks different or something like that, right? And that means they'll kill the child or even ostracize it, right? Or make it leave the community. Right? That's not good, Africans. You taught the white man racism by kicking him out when you gave birth to him, right? And then, again, he's giving it back to you when he took over Europe, right? That's what's happening, right? But see, I can't lie about it, right? It started with you being darker than your child, right? And you not sure where the child came from because it looked so different than you as a recessive DNA child, right? You didn't know about any of that, but that's because you don't want to know. And that's the problem too. You don't want to know the truth. No one does. No one knows. Or you would all be able to learn it by now. Knowledge is increased, I know. If you want to know the truth, it's out there like in the X-Files. But you don't want to know it. And Satan is even affecting us in that area too, right? That's the whole point. Anyway. So, alright, it's about 5:30. I'm going to go get me something to eat. Like I told you, I rested about an hour. I just wanted to show you a little bit of swordplay, nothing too serious, but, again, how to do a few cuts and the main point of swordplay, right? Now, it's just play, right? No one goes around chopping people's head off like in the fucking Highlander. That's a movie. No one shoots someone with a shotgun blast like in Ninja 3 The Domination. That's a movie. And no one knocks someone out with a baseball bat. That's supposed to be a movie. But anyway. No one does that. So anyway, y'all have a great afternoon and talk to you later. Bye-bye.